Welcome to the SONYA DUNGEE podcast, episode number 205. Nixing-Lighter, clearer, and stronger. So in tonight's episode 205, it is being brought to you by Always Destined for Greatness, LLC, B Lips, LLC, and Drip City Customs, LLC. So if you're watching live, and if you receive value, the same as if you're watching the replay later on, if you experience a breakthrough or an aha moment, please make sure to announce that in the chat. Also, please indicate the area in which you are joining in from tonight so that we can shout you out. As you can see, I'm not on all platforms, but you know what? The enemy's a liar. So one way or another, I was definitely going to get on here tonight. So with that being said, before we get started, I would like to take a moment of silence. This is something that we haven't done in a really long time, but, a very close friend of mine, who we all grew to love and adore, has went on to be with the Lord. And so I'd just like to take a moment of silence for her, as well as anyone else that you know who has also gone to be with the Lord. Shall we? Thank you. So with that being said, again, great evening and welcome to the SONYA DUNGEE podcast, where conversation is always the essence of the soul. I am your host, SONYA DUNGEE, and yes, I'm still bringing that heat to the IG, the Facebook, the YouTube, and now the TikTok streets. If you notice, the studio looks a little bit different because we're also in the midst of some construction work. I want to change things up a bit for 2026. And so if you're wondering why, that's the reason why. We're going to be doing a lot of nixing, fixing, and mixing in this year to come. So with that being said, well, please grab yourself some paper and some pens, plural, because you really might want to take some notes tonight on what we are about to talk through this evening. I'll wait a second or two while you go ahead and do that. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about what no longer serves you. Okay, and in that, we're going to talk about moving forward, about achieving your goals and dreams, something that you have put along the sidelines due to grief, due to challenges, hardships. And in 2026, we're going to begin to move the needle forward one day more than the day before. That's all that it takes. And we're not going to carry the burden of the overweightness. We are going to get rid of that along the way. And it's not about rejection. It's about redirection. Okay, nixing is choosing clarity over comfort. It's understanding that not everything that you carry, it belongs in your season, especially in 2026. It doesn't belong here. And in order for us to fully prepare to go next level, we are going to lose, well, we're going to lose some things along the way, but we're going to follow reflection. So I've created this framework for you, and it's called the Reflection Framework Nixing. All right, and as I go, I'm trying to read along here. Okay. So the first one that we're going to do is, they don't see me, they call, which is amazing. I'm so grateful for that. So, as I was saying, so in order for us to move forward in 2026, we had to come up with a framework that we can really follow and use that as our guide to really answer the questions that we need to move forward for 2026, okay? So the first one is N, okay, and that's notice. What feels heavy? What is draining? What is out of alignment in your life right now? Okay, what's draining to you? What feels heavy? What feels out of alignment right now in your life? Is it colorless? Is it gray? Has it gone to blue? Is it green? Yellow? Have you moved forward into purple or red? But what feels heavy right now? Okay, what's draining you? What are you out of alignment? Or maybe you're not. Or maybe you don't think you are, but you are. Okay, and then we are going to identify. So the next letter is I. Decide if it's a habit, if it's a mindset, if it's a relationship, or is it a commitment? So you have to decide on which of these is it, okay? And then the next is X. Examine, okay? Examine. Ask yourself, honestly, is this helping me grow? Or is it keeping me stuck? Stuck in grief, stuck in hardship, stuck in life challenges. Is it keeping me stuck? The I is intentionally release. Intentionally release. Decide what you are personally willing to let go of. Not later, not someday, but now. Today, now. And I see that you guys are joining. I thank you so much. I see Miami's in the house. We have DC is watching live as well. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you. And not to worry, because we will be going over some of what you've missed. Okay, so no worries there. So then the next is the N. The N is new space. What opens up when you let this go? Is it peace? Is it time? Is it energy? Is it clarity? What, as we spoke before, what is your color? And again, we're going to speak a little bit more in depth with that, but the next is grow forward. Move ahead lighter. Move ahead more focused. Move ahead aligned with who you're becoming in 2026. This year, 2026. All right? And then we're going to talk about the things that feel heavy, that are draining you, and that are out of alignment. I'm just going to give you some basics, okay? So the first one is basic self-care. Showing up, eating nutritiously, hydrating, sleeping, just getting dressed in the morning. 2 is routines, simplicity, such as everyday rituals. 3, physical exhaustion. Grief, hardship, life challenges can really take a toll and create havoc on your body. So that's what I mean by the physical exhaustion. 4, navigating through new responsibilities. Whether it's the financials, household, those responsibilities that if it is grief, that somebody else in your life took care of that for you. And now you're left to do that on your own. 5 is growing forward. Prioritizing self through self-care, self-love. Seek support by investing in self. We all have to invest in ourselves. We can't do it alone. And I'm about to share my story, so if you've never heard of it before, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. And it's practicing self-acceptance. Next is things that are out of alignment. The identity of who are you now? You might have lost a role as a caregiver, as I did, that I more recently realized that was a part of it. Because my siblings lived in other states, I was the sole caregiver as far as siblings in New York. They were always nearby. They were a phone call away, earshot. You know, I had my children and they would also share in taking my dad to the doctor's appointment. But when it came to the responsibility and when it came to the decision making, no matter what I spoke to my siblings about, they gave me that okay and said, Sonia, you're in New York. It's your decision. We trust you. And so not having my dad around anymore, I also lost my identity in it. And in that, the new norm. See, the world as you once knew it to be it's creating disconnect. It's the isolation. One can feel all alone even when others are present. So I want to pause here momentarily. And I want to share my story with all of you. From grief to walking in purpose, while answering to those that I was called to serve. So my story began, almost 5 years ago, January 23rd of 2021. So it's been almost 5 years. Wow. And in that came totally out of left field. Didn't see it coming. Now, if I go back and I think about the signs, okay, I understand a little bit more. But not even 48 hours before, there I sat in this small, claustrophobic room. My dad, myself, and somebody in the medical profession that I never saw before. And as my dad said, straight shot and said my dad had 6 months to live. And the emotions, I'm sure you know, that was going through my head, but I didn't want to react because my fist would have landed and I didn't want that to happen. But it was just the fact of that reaction after not being warned before. And now I find myself, not even 48 hours later, at my dad's bedside at the VA hospital in Northport, New York, during the height of the pandemic, in the frigid, cold temperatures below 0. And in that, I didn't want to be there, as I said so many times before, because I knew what the inevitable was going to be. And I figured if I'm not there, if I'm not sitting there, and if I'm not touching my dad, if I'm not holding his hand, if I'm not looking into his eyes, it won't happen. But the reality is, it happened. And as I sat and I watched that tear roll down my dad's cheek, I witnessed him take his very last breath here on this earth, knowing he was taking his first breath in heaven. And I wasn't there by myself. My daughter was there. She was Zooming so that other family members all over the world could say their last goodbyes. I had family in the parking lot. I wasn't there by myself, but in that moment, you feel like you're by yourself. And as a result of that, I spiraled out of control immediately. I isolated myself. I did the bare minimum, all the things that we just talked about. I showered, threw on whatever. I didn't even care because I was working from home. Nobody was seeing me. I walked across my living room into the shishi room. I did whatever my tour was that I was assigned. I closed down at the end of the day, walked back across the living room into my bedroom, shut the door, and I just kept doing that. And I did that for 342 days, day after day after day after day. I lost a lot of weight I didn't even realize. Excuse me. Because I wasn't eating, I wasn't really speaking to anyone. I was running back and forth to the cemetery every chance I could get, even when my bodyguards at times would go with me or ask, when I wanted to go by myself, but some family always felt the need to go with me. Then I didn't understand why. Now I'm grateful for that. Grateful for that. And this went on like that hamster on a wheel over and over again, repetitively. The seconds turned into minutes, turned into hours, turned into days, turned into weeks, turned into months, turned into almost a year. And it wasn't until I made that conscious decision that this could not continue, that I had to do more. My life was purposeful. There was times when I didn't think I was going to make it. One time in particular, my mom was looking for help because we got stuck up in the mountains in the snow, and she couldn't see where she was going and almost walked off a cliff with me. So when I say that my life is purposeful and I'm grateful every day that I wake up, I'm grateful. And that's what I had to learn. Because there's no timeline, there's no date book, there's no how-to, no instructions. I didn't know how to shake it off. I didn't know that there's podcasts. I didn't know that anything. But after my willpower wasn't cutting it, I invested in myself and I went and I seeked out my now coach, mentor, brother in Christ, friend, and an amazing, phenomenal community of icons that we support each other every day, even when we don't think that we are, just knowing that they're there. And it wasn't until then that I was able to start taking the steps necessary to begin the healing process, to go from the grays into the blues, then the greens, then the yellows. When I was in the yellows, it was like midway. I would sometimes catch myself laughing and then look around to see who's listening because I didn't want them to think I was being disrespectful. Because I thought if I smiled for a moment or if I found a pocket of joy, I'm being disrespectful. But I found out later I wasn't. And so that's the story that I wanted to share with you. And as a result, almost 5 years later, I sit in front of you with episode 205 of the SONYA Dungeee podcast. And I'm not patting myself on the back. No matter what, how I'm feeling, I'm sick today. But I show up because God blessed me with the strength to be able to show up, because in my mind, I never know who needs to hear what it is that I want to share. That somebody that needs to hear the message the same way I needed to hear it and didn't know where to go. So when we talk about isolation, I know about it. And if you're struggling with grief, pain, from a broken heart, from life challenges, grief, DM me. DM me. Help. And I will send you my personal calendar link, a heart-to-heart with Sonya. And I will give you my time free. So together on a Zoom, you and I can talk about how we can help you move forward. But it has to start with you, because you have to want it and you have to know that you need it more than anything else. I cannot do that for you. You have to take the first steps. So thank you for allowing me to share my story. So as we come to a close, I want to leave you with this question. What is the number one thing that you know deep down in your core, in your being, that you need to nix before fully being able to step into 2026? You see, you can't just wake up one morning and say, I'm resilient, because you're not. I wasn't. There's steps in the process that you have to take first to get there. You see, we have to get to the point of thriving, as we learn in Thriving in 2025, to start nixing and fixing and mixing in 2026. And I didn't sit here and just think about, oh, let me think of some rhyming words. They all have purpose, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it episode to episode. So again, I'm going to ask you, what is the one thing that you know deep down in the core, your very being, that you need to nix before you can fully step in 2026 and talk about somebody's resilience? Think long and hard. Be honest with yourself without judgment, without pressure. You see, growth doesn't always happen in the loud of moments. Sometimes it happens quietly. That's when we finally listen and acknowledge what our heart has been trying to tell us. Like I did. It's not easy. I'm 2 weeks short of 5 years in. You see, wherever you are in your journey, please know this. You see, awareness, it's a powerful beginning. Let me say that again. Awareness is a powerful beginning. And you don't have to sit there and have it all figured out, because you won't. You just have to be willing to acknowledge what is true for you. My truth might not be yours. You have to know what your truth is for you. And before we come to close, I just want to read some of the comments. I don't want to leave anybody. So I want to thank Jacksonville, Florida is in the building. I see Miami. Wow, Florida's repping. And DC, thank you so much. And I see that you're getting massive value. I want to thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. The comments just are not moving fast enough. Boys, that's so true. You know it. Massive value. You know it. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. So I want to thank you for spending this moment with me, for showing up for yourself, not for me, but for yourself, whether you're live or you watch the replay later. Because I know there's some of you that watch that replay and you don't comment, and that's okay. It's okay. But if you're going to comment in your heart of hearts, because that's what's important to me. That's what you need to be able to move forward. And so I want to thank you again for showing up and for being open to the work that comes with moving forward. Because we have some work to do in 2026. We really do. We're not there. We're not resilient. So if anybody sits back and says, I'm resilient, I beg to differ. But you're entitled to your opinion. But we got to start to thrive before we can be resilient. And for us to do that, we cannot be in denial. We have to take the necessary steps. So until next Wednesday, when we meet right here again, stay safe. Stay well. God bless. Always be destined for greatness, your very best. Bye for now.